It's Sunday. It's Mark Pires. And it's real talk.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way
To ease my mind
and help my living.
It's real talk. It's the daily variety show, Mark Pires Real Talk. I'm here to help you make smarter moves, to amplify your current state. And I'm here with you on Sunday night, day 391 in a row of the Mark Pires Real Talk show. And today has been a day. You guys know, we're all experiencing the same exact things today, the same emotions. And I think shock is probably the biggest emotion that we're all kind of just like, whoa, wait a second, huh? Explain to me. I'm going to go just give you an overview, synopsis of my day and how this all, how we got to this moment. But I went to my grandfather's 96th birthday party today. And I don't get to see my grandfather very often. He's only about an hour and a half away from me. But I'm so busy with real estate, real talk, family, sports, everything we got going on. It's so hard to get out to see him as often as I'd like. So we got together today for his 96th birthday. And if you guys are on Facebook with me, then you saw the photo. And if you're not on Facebook with me, you should go follow me on Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on every social media platform. So if you're on one, just type my name in there and then follow. So anyway, went to my grandfather's 96th and I posted a photo of that on Facebook. And at the end of the party, when I was saying goodbye, I went to say goodbye and hug him. And I could see tears were welling up in his eyes when he said goodbye to my wife and to the kids. And when I went to go and give him a hug, I talk about on this show where I'm starting to uncover 391 days in that I've got this empath quality to myself where I really connect to people and what they're feeling. And as I went in to give him a hug, I could just feel everything going through him. It was so weird, but he was thinking just about my grandma's. All he was thinking about, how much he wished she was there in that moment. And I gave him this huge hug, and it just lasted. I kissed him on the head twice while I was doing this whole thing, but I was just holding him, saying goodbye. Because I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow brings. So I took my time to just let him know I love him. And then the embrace was over. And it was a very weird thing for me because once I got past that moment where we kind of connected, I had to go. Like I had said goodbye, and the last goodbye was to Grandpa. I need this right now, guys. Woo-hoo! That's powerful right there, that moment. Especially on a day like today, when we're feeling so down, to get that type of energy coming at you. Woohoo! So anyway, when I said goodbye to my grandfather and I'm walking out of the restaurant, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you where I just had to go. I needed to get out of there because the moment had passed and standing there any longer would just make me feel more sad, I'd be thinking more about the possibility of, maybe I don't get to see him again. This is what's going through your mind when your grandfather's 96 and you haven't seen him in a year. It's been about a year. I don't think we saw him for Christmas. He wasn't feeling up for it. So in general, it hasn't been a year, but it's been a while. And I don't know if it's a month from now, 4 months from now, whenever, that we have a chance to get together with Grandpa again. So that embrace was very important to me. But at that moment when I walked out, it was funny, the kids and my wife were still kind of talking to people. And I just walked out of the restaurant. And I heard my wife in the background. She goes, "Where's Daddy?" And my son was like, oh, he's outside already. And I was just holding the door for people. Holding the door, just reflecting on what just happened. And to me, it was something massive. I think it was for Grandpa too. You know, the amazing thing, and just something I marvel at, is 96. He looks amazing. He is completely 100% with it. I mean, oh, Mark, he's just 96. It's amazing. But you could tell as he sits there at the end of the table looking at everybody, all the kids, the grandkids, the great-grandkids. And Grandma's not there, you know. So it's hard because he spent his whole life with her. And now every second of every day, all he thinks about is her. And I tell you guys, it's extremely important to tell the people that you love them when you have a chance to. And that little 30-second hug I had with Grandpa at the end today, that was my chance. And then we're driving home. And my daughter just happens to say, there was a helicopter accident in California. And I'm like, how do you know what's going on? She's 10. She's like, oh, I just heard about it. They just said it on the news. Now I'm like in my own world apparently because I didn't hear the first bit on this. And my wife's first response was, I hope everyone's okay. I hope everyone's okay, you know. And I think she was like, we were just talking about like, hopefully it's not somebody like famous, because in general, people in helicopters are usually extremely successful people. And then when I opened it up, I went, and my wife was like, what's the matter? And I couldn't even say the words at first. And I wasn't a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm not a Lakers fan. I was a Michael Jordan fan. I respected how amazing he was on the court, but I am true a Michael Jordan fan, like for the rest of my life. Michael Jordan, greatest player ever, I'm sorry. That dude was like, it was poetry in motion when Michael Jordan had a basketball in his hand. Nobody moves like that. There's force. LeBron is force, and he is unbelievably like one of the he's amazing. In this era, he's the greatest of all time. In this 20-year era that he's in. But in that era, it was Jordan. It was Jordan. And you can't, I think the best way to, and I'm going off track here, but the best way to think about greatest of all time is the way Michael Jordan thinks about it. He says, you can't figure that. He didn't have a chance to play with Dr. J. He didn't have a chance to play with Bill Walton or anybody else prior to him. He didn't get a chance to play with LeBron James or Allen Iverson. You can't determine who the greatest of all time is, because there's a greatest of all time in every generation. We're so we're so focused on who's the greatest ever. There is a greatest in every generation. Now, if you put them all on a court together, that would be a pretty sick thing to see. That would be a pretty sick thing. And who's going to win a one-on-one game? I don't know. You know, that's a simple thing. I think a LeBron versus a Jordan type of thing, like, I don't know. It's a powerful dude who's got 3 inches on another guy. Like one-on-one, both quick. One-on-one, it may be just like you get destroyed. Jordan's just like, he's smaller. You know, I don't know. But listen, let's get back to what I was thinking. So just the idea of a 41-year-old celebrity, somebody that we all know. Everybody knows who Kobe Bryant is. And when I saw his name, I was like, for the first 3 or 4 hours, I kept thinking, no, they're going to say that he didn't get on the helicopter. It's not him. And this can't be. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, can he jump out? Like, I'm wondering still, like, what happened? And then I'm thinking to myself, you start playing out like what could have, everybody perished. So it was a horrible crash, whatever happened. And it's just a sad thing because he loses his life. Now, 41, that's That's my age, guys. I'm reflecting on this day, thinking to myself, that's like, could be anybody that I know in that helicopter. It's a guy that we all recognize from the negatube. But 41 years old. And then to hear that not only his 13-year-old daughter, but another 13-year-old daughter of somebody else on the helicopter as well. I don't know the full scoop. Who else was on? How old were they? It doesn't matter, but they're all no longer here. And it's a terrible thing when the opportunity to find something greater or another day to create, you're not given that. You think about what he accomplished on the court, right? Now he's 41. He's a father of, I think it's 4. And now life squashed. No opportunity to create something beyond the court. And that's just a sad thing, but the children thing, that's just crushing. It's unbelievable that this happened. I don't think I ever would have forgotten that embrace I had with my grandpa today. But it puts that embrace into perspective even more. Driving home like 30 minutes later. And this happens. And what it makes me realize is I got to find or make more time to go down and see him. To go down and just sit with him. You know, most people may know this. If you've been following this show long enough, you'll know this. Cross, what's up, my brother? You'll know this. My grandmother passed away. It's been, I think, over 1.5 years now. May even be longer. Jesus, it goes by so quickly, you guys. Unbelievable. And about a week before she passed, it's actually maybe a few days before she passed, I was driving home. And my whole family, my wife and I and the kids, we went down and saw her, a few days before this. And I remember they're like, oh, yeah, she's looking good, but this is like a hospice type of place. They're like, yeah, she's looking good. And so we went and spent like 1.5 hours with her, the kids. And, it's just like, so sad when someone knows what's happening. She was 88, but she was same thing as my grandpa, just so with it. And she was just like crying because she knew life was ending. She knew those last breaths were coming. And so I'm driving home one day after an appointment. I think it was a Sunday. Maybe I had an open house. As I'm driving towards the Merritt Parkway, I called my wife and I said, I think I'm going to go down and see Grandma. Do you mind if I run down there real quick? She goes, no, go and spend a little time alone with your grandma. And I love that she said that to me because I was like, my first thought was, nah, I'm just going to go home. When I said this to her, I almost expected her to be like, well, you know what? Let's go. We're going to go over to my parents' house for dinner, or let's go out and grab a bite to eat or something. She goes, no, go spend some time alone with your grandmother. And just that, the way that was laid out there, the way it was posed, go and spend some time alone with your grandmother. I was like, I'm going. Okay, so I go down, and when I got there, Jeff, what's up, my brother? When I got there, I spent about an hour with her, maybe a little more. I walked her around in her wheelchair in the facility, talking with her. And I had a real talk conversation with my grandma. And I just remember this connection. It's very similar to what I had with Grandpa today, but just a connection, an understanding that I wanted her to know how much I love her. When someone's in front of you and they have that light in their eyes, I want to see it grow when they hear the words come out of my mouth, how much they mean to me. And when I said it to her, she lit up. There's a tumor pushing on her, and wasn't many more days left. So the crazy thing is, we had this great day together, this great hour, a little over an hour together. And it wasn't more than a day or two later that she passed. And I just remember being at her funeral and looking around at everybody and almost feeling bad. I kind of felt bad that nobody else got to experience what I did. That nobody else said, you know what? Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe they did this on their own. But nobody else that I could think of, besides like obviously my parents and aunts, uncles, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not sure. But the idea that I thought to myself, I'm going to go down and spend a little time with Grandma while I can. While I can. Today I spent some time with Grandpa. So it was really awesome. Listen, we don't know what we get. We don't know if we're going to get in a car tomorrow and hit a wall. We don't know if we get 100 more years, if we get 10 more years, 50 days. Go out and live every single second and put it all on the line. Don't leave anything left in the gas tank, because if they come for you, what are you going to be remembered for? This entire world today is remembering somebody who was ferocious on the basketball court. He left a destiny. He left his dynasty is what he did on that court. Tonight they had the Grammys, where he played. And they had a really nice tribute to him. And it's still going on. I mean, I think it's still going on. Yeah, it's still going on. We taped it because we're trying to get the kids to sleep and everything. And then I just had a chance to catch a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw this. I think Alicia Keys gave the beat seat like a plug in her song. Did anybody else hear this? I wish I had saved this for you guys here. You got to check this out. It's in my stories on Facebook. And she said, we obsess over beat seat. I was like, what? They obsess over beat seat? Now, I don't know if it's because her, who's friends with Alicia Keys, her's drummer has a beat seat. So, and I heard her likes the beat seat, loves it, thinks it's really cool. Okay, so Carrington has the beat seat. Her thinks it's really cool. And maybe, and this is what I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe Alicia saw it. And she's like, we keep talking about this beat seat and we obsess over the beat seat. It's not that at all, but you got to hear it because it sounds like she gave us a plug. Anyway, listen, I know this is a somber episode, but I want you guys to understand that we obviously have no control over anything. This is what this proves. We have no control. And even if you're Kobe Bryant, you can't control getting another day. You can't control everything working on that helicopter. And no matter how much money he had in the bank in that moment, he had $0. That money was worthless to him in that moment. It was his last moment, and he had nothing he could transact. He had to sit there and close his eyes and hold his daughter and kiss her and tell her he loves her. And that's it. And they spent that moment together. That's the one redeeming thing I can think about this, is that at least the two of them were able to say how much they meant to each other when they left this earthly plane. And they held each other. Because there's something really, really devastating to me about death and being alone. And going from a life where you are trying to find light and love, and then your last breaths, you're just all alone. And only a precious few of us are able to hold someone in that last moment. And, it's a terrible thing that happened, but my hope is that they were at least able to hold each other in that moment and help each other through what was about to happen. And listen, that's how I have to try to, come to grips with what happened there. And it's just a tragic thing. And this is, again, from somebody who's not a fan of Kobe Bryant. I never liked him as far as on the court. I wasn't like, ooh, he's my favorite player. No, I'm a Michael Jordan fan. In fact, I just don't watch the NBA anymore. I know who he is. I know LeBron. I know who the stars are, but I don't watch basketball. I don't watch anything. When I shut the TV off on December 31st, 2018, that was for a reason. I have no use for it anymore. Now, I have the screen down because we were supposed to watch the Grammys down here, and then that didn't happen. Michael, what's up, brother? So, this is a totally somber episode, and I really feel bad about coming out this way, but I wanted you guys to understand that, to me, this is what I'm taking from today. Spent lunch with my 96-year-old grandpa, who looks like he's 75, maybe 80. I mean, he looks so good. I'm looking at him, I'm like, geez, his skin. And he's down there drinking his coffee, and he's just such a cool dude. 96. He worked for Ford for like ever. He was like one of the original guys working at Ford and like the assembly line. Then he went up to, he's like a GM. He was just really, really interesting guy. I remember he had this Lexus. He bought a Lexus. Like that was his, like, when he retired, he got this Lexus, which Lexus was made by Buick, which was owned by Ford, I think at the time. I want to say something like that. Because he was very proud of the fact that he was somehow connected to this car being built. And so he had this car. I don't know how much he drove this car, but he would wash it. He would drive it, and then he'd come back and wash it and put it away in the garage. Every time he'd drive it, he'd come back, he'd wash it in the driveway, buff it, whatever, throw it in the garage. 10, 12 years later, that car was mint. He had like 8,000 miles on it. It was like perfect mint Lexus, but like the original one that was still like boxy, you know what I mean? Like I wish whoever has that car to this day, hopefully they took care of it like he did. He would oil change that thing every like 2,500 miles. He's like, nope, 3,000. That's for the suckers. We're going at 2,500. Every 2,500 miles, we're flipping that oil out. Like what an amazing, you have to be super dedicated to do something like that, you know, to be able to say, look, I'm going to keep my eye on that. And at 2476, I'm setting up an appointment. And I'm going to get that oil changed. But he did that. He was just like all over the oil change thing. And that car was mint. And just like he was super interesting, cool guy. And, you know, sitting there looking at him today, he's just like, I could tell he just wished Grandma was there sitting by his side and he could, you know, be enjoying his 96th birthday with him. And when you spend that much time with someone, you know, it's really terrible when you lose that light. It's really, really, really terrible, especially when that light is what brings you into and out of every day for years. And all of a sudden it's not there and you have to try to find something else, or you have to try to keep busy until your time comes. So when I saw Grandpa starting to tear up when he was hugging, going to say goodbye to me, I didn't want to let him go. I didn't want to go, okay, Grandpa. No, I wanted to hold him, and I wanted to just be sure at least he knows what he means to me, what he means to us. I never had a chance to meet a great-grandfather on both sides. They'd both passed before I was born. And my other grandpa passed when I was 7 years old, so that was something too that was, you know, I didn't get a chance to know him as much as I would have liked. He was unbelievably amazing. Like such an interesting character. Moved here from Portugal. This is a guy who owned land in Portugal. He was the sheriff of this town. And he decided to take his 5 kids and 4 kids? 4 kids. And take them and bring them to the United States of America. Start from scratch with nothing. The land of opportunity. Super interesting. And he taught himself all these different instruments. That's why I wish I had a chance to know more about him and have a chance to like real talk with him. It probably wouldn't have been very good at 7, but by 12 or 13, maybe I would have had a chance. You know, he just didn't have an opportunity to live a long life, you know, but super interesting. I have his organ downstairs. I've got his harmonicas. I've got 2 of his harmonicas, and I've got my father's saxophone, which I believe is his. So I've got most of his instruments. I may just be short 1 or 2 things. That to me is one of my greatest finds, is to all of these instruments my grandfather used to play. Having them in my studio is really unbelievable. Anyway, so I only knew my 2 grandparents. The fact that my children get to know a great grandfather is like so cool. And like I said, appreciate what you have while you have it. Because today is just today, and then everything else is what you're hoping for. But remember, hope is not a strategy. It's just something nice to have. It makes you feel warm. But live for the moment. Seize the day, whatever you want to call it. I say, only think about this second. And anything that's trying to drag you down, you got to let it just flow through you. It's going to take a little bit out of you for a moment. Let it. Life is about feeling, guys. Don't be like, I have to defend myself from feeling. I am attempting to stay here all the time, right? But the people around me are constantly working on their own energy levels. I got people down here trying to pull all of this away from me. Especially in a real estate business where everybody's just like, So you got to somehow remain juiced up. You got to somehow keep your own levels up. And if someone brings you down, you'll understand what's going on. It's pulling you away. And then you can break away and generate back up. But don't feel like you can't experience life. Let this moment take you, and try not to think too much about tomorrow, because we just don't know if we're going to get that. So listen, it is not going to be a music night tonight. I wanted to just leave this one out there. And it's just kind of a day. I think it's better to just kind of let it sit, But tomorrow I'll be back from the studio for day 292. I'm not sure if it's going to be a late in the day thing. I think it's going to be something around like 4:30. But I'll try to shoot a note with a little clip or something. And I'm sure, did you guys see this crazy thing that went on the other day? I'm not sure if you guys had to witness this. I'm a motivational speaker, so I've just been seeing a lot of these these funnels. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, hey, I could teach you everything about getting followers, and I could teach you how you can be successful and make millions of dollars and 10x and everybody's just like throwing these terms out there about how they're the master, and just because they're successful or because they were able to find their way to something, they think now they can just multiply that by 1 million and have everybody pay them for that information. Well, you got there because it was easy to get there in that moment. And now what you're doing is you're cheapening it. You're watering it down because you've already taken over that complete part of the marketplace. And it's not a threat to you to have someone else come and make a funnel. You understand what I mean? It's just like a con. Everyone's like, ooh, let me sell you a way that you can, like, ugh. You know what I mean? That's why this happened. Let me see if I can find it for you. And again, if anybody here, I like all these people, so don't think I don't like them. I actually like them all. I just think these commercials are hilarious. All right, here we go.
Oh, hey, winners, it's Dean Graziosi. I'm here with you today. I'm just going to pump you up real quick. I'm going to tell you a few things. I'm sitting here with my beautiful fiance, and we're just talking about how we can make other people rich.
Hey guys, it's great. This economy's not getting better. It's only going to get worse. You need to start 10xing. 10x, always, constantly 10x. Whatever your expectations are, 10x them.
Hi, I'm Brandon Kane. I'm a social media master. I've worked with some of the biggest artists in the world, and I've helped them get their content in front of large audiences. And I wrote a book. I put my heart and soul in it. And I hope you'll look. I'll give it to you for free. All I ask is that you pay for the shipping and handling, and I'll send it to you, and I can teach you how to get 1 million followers in a month.
Oh, hey, winners, it's Dean Graziosi again. I just want to remind you that special that I'm offering, it's only good for the next 48 years. And you gotta jump on it quick, because all of my clients across the world are doing so great because of my training. And my beautiful fiance, too. Dude, what's up? It's Gary V. I'm crushing it again. Went up to a tag sale. They were selling used tampons and used baby bottles. I got them all for $7.30. Sold it for $9.85. That's profit, dude. What did you do today? I'm crushing it. Oh, hey, winners. It's Dean Graziosi again. I'm here to tell you about this very exciting networking event that we're doing. And I'm going to be giving away all my secrets. All you have to do is give away your firstborn.
Are you kidding me, guys? Ooh. So that's round one. And here's the thing, guys. It's not like that takes me a lot of time to do. I'm realizing more and more how easy it is. It took me a little while to figure it out. But now that I'm doing it, it's so easy. I can knock something out in like 10 seconds. In fact, all of these are done in like 10 seconds. I literally just like improvise through it. And I'm just, hey guys, it's Dean Graziosi again. Like, I love how he always comes on with this big grin. Have you guys seen these commercials? Or the guy, Brendan Kane. I'm a social media master. He's like whispering into the microphone. I'm like, who is this guy? I love them all though. Grant Cardone. I love Gary V. I love all these guys. But I think it's cool that I can take a picture of anybody and do that now. So just beware that I can do an impression of you. And I may just, you'll be like, who's that guy? Who's Tim Phillips? You're like, oh, he's just some guy that I decided to do an impression of on TikTok. No, so that basically to me is just a funny thing. And what I'm going to be doing going forward, as you know, you've seen this already, but the show will start having those types of like add-ons. So you'll just be like, okay, today we have a guest and it's going to be somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. Every day it's somebody different. And it just takes me a split second to do it. And it's pretty cool. I think, wasn't that pretty cool? Cross, what did you think? Michael, what did you think? Isma, how are you? Did you guys like that? I got a kick out of it. I don't know. Anyway, listen. Actually, we needed a little comic relief just to push us out of this, right? Let's move it out. Let's find the positivity again tomorrow. It's the start of a new week. I'll be with you for some Monday motivation. You know, maybe what I'll do is try to go live. I think I got a space. I think I'm going to be free somewhat in the late morning. So let's see. It's either late morning or afternoon. I'll shoot you guys a note. Just make sure you shoot me a DM if you have any topics you want me to cover. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oops. I did that right. Crazy day. Day 391. I don't know if I'll forget this day ever. Doubt it. It's Mark Pires.